Our next inductee is Joe Sutter. Joe Sutter played a huge role in revitalizing the Marion Giants boys basketball program in the mid-1960s. He led Marion to 2 very successful seasons in his junior and senior years, winning 38 games over that span of time while only losing 13. His junior year, the Giants won the North Central Conference title for the first time since 1940, and that team went on to win the sectional championship that year as well. John's senior year, the Giants finished the season 21-6, winning sectional and regional championships. John was named to the all-sectional, all-regional, and all-semi-state teams, and was a first-team all-NCC selection. He averaged 21.8 points per game his senior season. Following graduation, Suter accepted a basketball scholarship to Tulane University, where he was a starter for the Green Wave for 3 years. As a junior, John averaged 24.3 points per game, which is the second highest average in Tulane basketball history, and was named a first-team NCAA All-American that year. John ended his Tulane career as one of the leading scorers in school history and highlighted his career in 1969 when his Green Wave team defeated an LSU Tiger team led by the great Pistol Pete Maravich, who happened to score 66 points in that game. Accepting John's award is his brother Joe Sutter. Joe is escorted by board member Angie Fincannon and board member and Hall of Fame Class of 2009 member Jack Colescott. Please welcome, on Joe Sutter's behalf, his brother John.
Well, hello everybody. It's good to be back again. I had the privilege of being here about 2 years ago when I was honored with an induction, and I think I'm every bit as proud to fill in for Big Brother John. And I'm just struck as I've been away for 35 years and came back to these 2 events, how many really fine and quality and caring people are in Grant County. It's just, I think it's truly amazing. Can we give everybody a hand for Grant County? I've got to say thanks, Joseph, for all the kind words, and Javon was my brother too. I know John really wanted to be here. He was very disappointed that he couldn't be. He had a minor engagement where he is a host and director of 10,000 people at an event as we speak here. So he asked me to step in, and I want to read to you what he wrote. I'll try it without the glasses first, for vanity. Thank you to all for this induction into the Grant County Sports Hall of Fame. I am proud and honored to be included. I am very sorry to be unable to attend, but professional obligations have made it impossible to do so. I would like to thank several people, my mother and my late father for their unwavering support in countless ways, and also my sisters, Julie and Jan. Many thanks to my brother Joe for standing in for me today. Without our brotherly competition over the years, I would never have been the player I became. I also want to thank my Uncle Jim Suter and his wonderful family for their support over the years. Also thanks to my cousin, Nick Dedeker of Oak Hill, for his loyal friendship, and I hope he will be considered at some time for the Hall of Fame induction and for his lifelong achievements in sports. I can say that in my entire career, the best coaches I ever had were in Marion, and I want to recognize Otis Archie and Dick Persinger. Thank you to both of them. But without a doubt, Jack Colescott was the greatest coach, the most inspiring yet humble man under whom I learned so much about basketball and life. Along with my father, he has been the finest example of a man of integrity that I've ever known. Thank you, Coach Colescott. I want to add that I feel very privileged to be inducted alongside the late Harold Curdy. No other high school player inspired me and thrilled me with his play quite like he did. For me, he will always be the greatest Marion Giant to ever play the game. Lastly, I ask that all of you please keep Kurt and my cousin Debbie Suter Smith's son, Andrew Smith of Butler Bulldog fame, in your thoughts and prayers as he continues to confront and battle his serious health issues. Again, thank you very much for this honor, and congratulations to all my fellow inductees. Sincerely, John Suter. Now, since I had to get up here and talk for you, I'm going to take just a few minutes to tell you a little bit about John as I saw John and see John. One is a teammate, and we all know, anybody that's played a team sport, how great that bond is, how great it was to see all these old guys out here again. Haven't seen a lot of them in decades, but there's a special feel that never goes away. And we left as much sweat as what we did on this floor, running those wind sprints and racehorses. It never goes away. And I have had the good fortune of being a teammate of my brother John. He was also my big brother. I never had the opportunity to be a big brother. I think it's a pretty tall task and a lot of hats to wear. I think you've got to be a mentor and a teacher. You got the little brothers following you around all the time. You got to be a little bit of a guidance counselor, to listen to them complain, try and help them out. And you got to be a little bit of a policeman. And I won't go into those stories, but trust me, he did a good job of that with me a few times as well. My earliest memory of being teammates with John was at junior basketball camp, Taylor University, Upland, Indiana. I think it was the first year. And you were supposed to be 10 years old to go. John was 10, he wanted to go. John wanted to go, I wanted to go. I was 8 years old. So my parents, after John convinced them at the age of 10 that he would look after me and everything would be fine, talked to Don Olo, they let me go at age 8. Well, Upland, Indiana was about as far from Marion as China was to me at that point in time. I was so nervous, and my mom had told us, every morning get up, brush your teeth, make your bed. I would not move at night. I didn't have to make my bed, I was so scared. And the format there was that in the mornings you did drills and fundamentals. In the afternoons you played games. And after about the first 3 days, I hadn't taken a shot. I was so scared, not one. John said that night, he said, you know, Joe, he said, you can shoot. Go ahead, take a shot, shoot. Well, I've been a good little brother following directions. I fired him up from every spot on the court, every angle on the court, for the next 3 games. Didn't make one. He came back, he said, I didn't say you had to shoot every time. Still hadn't scored a point. It was the last day, last game. And somehow we got on a 2-on-0 fast break. John out ahead going to the basket, I'm running behind. And lo and behold, he turns around, hands me the ball, nobody on me, put it up, layup goes in. John likes to remind me that if he hadn't gotten me off the mark, I might never scored a point in my entire career. And I reminded him that's the last time I ever saw him pass out the open shot. We didn't play Little League the next year. Okay, I was 9, he was 11, he was a catcher. He was a pretty good catcher, pretty good baseball player. I always said, man, you should have stuck it out. You've been the only 6'9" catcher in the major leagues. The ump could never see over yet. He complained about every call. I was 9 years old. I wasn't good enough to be on the team, but I got on the team because John was on the team. My mom likes to tell this story after the first few games. I hadn't got to play. And we came home in the car, and she said, now you boys put your uniforms in the washing machine. And I said, Mom, my uniform doesn't need to go in the washing machine. It's not dirty. I never get to play. Pulled the hat down, had a tear coming down my eye, frustrated, trying to keep up. Mom came up afterwards. I was in my room, moping around. Said, you know, it's okay. Talked to me for about 5 minutes. That didn't do any good. Dad came up, said basically the same thing. That didn't do any good. John came in. He said, what are you moping about, man? Most 9-year-olds aren't even on this team. You'll get to play next year and the years after that. Come on, let's go play a game of horse. We did. He beat me 5 games in a row. So. And we played a lot of tennis together as teammates, and he was always encouraging me, and unless we played against each other. And then that was a little bit of a different story. But always pulled us out. But the thing I remember most, my sophomore year, we were playing up at Fort Wayne Central, and we got beat in a close game. And it was a long bus ride back, and we got in the car and we drove back. We didn't say much, but before we got out of the car, when we pulled up in the driveway, he said, you know, we were a better team because you were out there tonight. And from then on, I was always confident, never went away. But let me tell you just a minute here, and I won't talk a whole lot longer, about John as a player. John was a tremendous shooter, and he had range. And he always admits to this day, man, if they had that three-point line when I was playing, I would have killed it. And he could fill it up out here. But I remember his junior year, he had a broken arm, and he came back and we were playing Lafayette Jeff. And I don't think he started because coach wanted to work him back in. Put him in pretty early in the first half. John made first shot, got the ball about 15-footer. Next time down, took a step back, made one about 16, 17. He went on to make 5 jump shots in a row, each one farther than the one before, all in the first half. And Rick Hutchison, who was big in the Boys Booster Club, and came running up to me at halftime and he said, Harold Curdy's back, but he's in John's uniform. It was a story 2 years ago because it's my biggest memory. We were playing Elwood in the finals of the section. They had John Mendel, NBA pro, and it was a tight game. And I missed a little bunny shot at the end of regulation. Should have made it, rushed it. And he just looked at me. Didn't say anything, just looked at me like, man, how did you miss that shot? Didn't say anything. Well, we're in overtime. We're down 1 point. 7 seconds to go. Doug Brown is going to go to the line for 1-on-1. Now, I hear Coach Colescott tell this story. Somebody called timeout. I ran over to Coach Colescott, and Coach looked up at Doug Brown and said, Doug, you going to make this free throw? And Doug said, yeah, no doubt. Coach said, right then, I knew he was going to miss it. Right, Doug? John somehow from the second position got the rebound and then somehow put it back in. We won the game. And I was so happy when we won the section. I was just as happy I didn't have to look at him for all those years and say, I miss that bunny at the end of regulation time. He had a couple sayings. I asked him one time, I said, man, what if you miss 5 in a row? Are you thinking about passing a little bit? Holding back. He said, oh, no. He said, if I miss 5 in a row, the odds are with me and the next one's going in. He said, I've got a saying, it's shoot to get hot and shoot to stay hot. We were both playing in Europe, and I told him on the phone, he was playing down in Italy, and I said, how's it going? He goes, oh, it's going okay. I said, well, what kind of offense are you running? He said, I'm not really sure. I think it's a GMA. GMA? GMA? He said, yeah, GMA. I said, is that general milling around? He said, oh no, that's get many attempts. He was a great shooter, he was a great player. He was one of the leading scorers in Europe for about a decade. And, I'll say he's a good man, great father, raised 4 children, very active in his community. And I'm, as you can tell, proud to be his brother, and I think this hall can be proud to have him as a member. And selfishly, I want to thank you too, because I think we've been teammates one more time, so thanks so much.